All right. Any ahas, any additional questions that you want to ask about the session just now?
Well, it sounds like he really likes being on the team, and it sounds like that even though the split might not sound desirable, it sounds like you can still make money by being a part of a successful team like the Curtin team.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
something I've considered is, in joining a team, they take part of your percentage, but they also take on a lot of your overhead, right?
I was just about to go there. Is
So
pretty much all of the operating expenses.
So either I'm receiving 100% of my portion and paying out a percentage of it through the overhead that I'm generating myself, or I'm getting a percentage and I'm paying somebody else for the overhead that I'm not generating myself.
Right, so it sort of balances out.
Right, like every team is different. Some teams might pay for your office bill or might be willing to pay for some of your education. Under certain circumstances, they may be willing to take you to family reunion. They may send you to Bold. They may, they certainly pay for all your marketing and that kind of stuff. So you really have to, that's why it's important to run a P&L, right? To really understand what does it cost for me to be in business so that you can say to yourself, hey, today I can only afford to spend, $50 a month on X. But if I join a team, they're going to spend $600 a month on the same thing. And it'll give me more opportunities and more results. I've always said, like, let's say you start out and you decide to join a team. There's kind of two major departments of real estate, if you will. Okay. The first one is all the stuff you've got to understand, right? All the knowledge, the contracts, the database, the marketing, the pricing, the staging, the everything, all the stuff you've got to learn. The second department is who you're going to teach it to, right? This is your database. So if you're on a team, you're more than likely going to get way more at bats than you would if you were a solo agent trying to generate it all yourself. However, your database isn't going anywhere. It's going to stay as big as it currently is, and that's that. Okay. So in a year, let's say you're ready to consider leaving the team, you've got way more experience and at bats than the average 1-year real estate agent, yet you're basically starting fresh from the database perspective. Right.
So do you know of teams like, if you have your people that you've tagged as you, and you get a lead from the people that are tagged from you, do you also get to keep that, or does that go to them?
More than likely that would stay in your database. But again, every team operates a little bit differently.
Because if you can keep those people that are coming as referrals from the people that are already yours, then you have some growth, but not.
Yeah, that is true. But you also have to, first of all, you have to make sure that's something that the team endorses, right? Mm-hmm. Every team has a bit of a different mindset around this. And some teams are, how do I want to say this? This is going to sound terrible. Some teams are a little bit more focused on themselves, and some teams are a little bit more focused on their people. And that's why it's so important not just to like grab the first team that says, oh, you can have some of my leads, right? It's to say like, hey, we're getting into business together. This is a big deal. I want to interview you just like you would interview me, right? So if somebody's going to hire you as a team member without putting you through the career visioning, that's in red flag number 1. They are not following the model. Hey, just out of curiosity, what about career visioning? Well, we don't do career visioning. You don't follow the model. I think I'm going to go somewhere different, right? Because if they don't follow the model on that, they're not following the model on the other stuff either. Okay.
Yeah, the impression I got from the team that I interviewed with was that you come with a database, they basically record what you're coming in with, and then you leave with what you came in with. Anything that's added during the time that you're on the team, and I understood it to be no matter where it came from, that remained with the team when you left. So maybe I misunderstood.
Well, I'm saying that could change team by team. And
Right.
it also might come down to like, why did this person was it a marketing piece that the team bankrolled that caused this lead referral to
Right.
appear? Or is it somebody just married into the family? Like it could be a bunch of different scenarios. So I don't want you to feel like it's 100% it's this way. Some teams pay your monthly bill, some teams don't, right?
Well, and I think that just questioning this, if different teams have ways that they do things and they have their original contract and this is what they do, I think each person they work with is still an individual agreement. So I'm assured that there are some things that are negotiable on a per agent basis as long as it's not disclosed.
Well, that kind of goes back to what I was saying before, which is
Depends on the team.
how good of a negotiator are you entitled to be, right? So if I'm completely unproven, right, they may not want to go over all these little details, right? If I'm crushing my job and I come into their orbit and they say, hey, Bill, we really want you to be a part of the organization. Say, I just got one really important question. How is this handled? They're like, done, right? It's a win-win. It's a win-win. So if somebody comes in, let's say, I know I've said this before and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but if maybe I'm just, let me skip that. I don't think it's wise to hire somebody as a buyer's agent that's not in productivity coaching. Okay. An agent has an opportunity to say, will I invest in myself or will I choose not to? Okay. If you've actively chosen not to, I'm going to be a little reluctant to hire you as a buyer's agent. That's the first red flag, right? But if somebody comes into the office and says, I want to be on a team, put me on a team, the team wants that person to have some knowledge, right? Get through Ignite, learn your scripts, learn the market, learn FMLS, learn the presentations, right? I want you to have some experience because that's part of the win-win, right? I'm going to get somebody who's proven themselves. If I was hiring in a team, I'd go straight to the PC and I'd say, hey, PC, who is killing it in PC? And that's the person that I would want to hire. And that's the person that I would put in the room and say, hey, what's it going to take? I want to be in business with you. What do you want? You want me to pay for Bold? Fine, done. You're awesome. I want to be in business with you. See what I'm saying? Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about kind of what you guys, how I know we've pretty much all of us have met individually in the last couple of days, but talk to me a little bit about what are you experiencing out there. Again, the purpose of this mastermind is really to celebrate together, to deal with challenges together, to share ideas. Hey, what's working for some people, what's not working? Let's get some advice for each other. Let's help one another out. I'll give you a little bit of framework around that question is, what have you gotten intentional about and then done it, right? You've accomplished it. And how is it impacting your life or your business? Anyone want to start with that type of idea?
Well, I can share that I've been intentional about organizing my work and organizing my workspace so that I can be more productive every day. So.
Okay, beautiful. Any specific example?
Well, as you know, I've had another job up until probably about 2 weeks ago. And so I let a lot of my filing and stuff pile up, and I've had the opportunity to file away everything in an organized manner so that I can, when I need to find it, I know exactly where it is. And I've set up my files for each of my clients and prospective clients. And I've created a board with my big rocks on it. So I've done all those things that I think are going to help me to be more focused and productive every day.
Love it. Love that. what other very intentional steps have you guys taken to increase the quality of your life or increase the your focus? Okay, who wants to suggest a topic? By the way, I have taken, well, I'll throw one other thing out there. I do have a, where is it? I do have a new version of the Week at a Glance. Okay. I was trying to come up with some cute phrases, but it's not my area of expertise. We are going to have a specific piece of content now around our morning huddles. Okay, so I'm going to do this week by week, but right now, the morning, and I'll publish this obviously, and give me some feedback on this if you guys don't mind, is our Monday huddle is going to be about chart masters. Okay, our Tuesday huddle is going to be about mindset. Our Wednesday huddle is going to be about time management. Our Thursday huddle will be about technology, and our Friday huddle will be about ideas for lead generation. We'll just keep that for this upcoming week. We, nothing's set in stone. Do you guys like those 5 topics?
I think that's perfect. That sounds awesome.
Okay, chart masters, or what we just call it, chart masters or market trends, that kind of stuff, right? What can we learn in these 30 minutes to learn something about the marketplace and to have something to share with our people, right? So market / chart masters, as well as mindset, time management, technology, and lead gen. Okay, there's pretty much no one on this call that I have not seen an improvement in their confidence in the last couple of weeks, right? That just simply comes from repetition, practice, and an awareness, right?
It's all your fault, Bill.
What did I do? I helped you get more confident.
Right.
You know, I'm listening to this guy. I'm listening to this guy right now. His name is Brendan Bouchard. Has anyone heard of him before?
I've heard that name. It sounds familiar.
He's a high performance coach. His organization has done a ton of research all around the world on unique things that high performers do. And I'm listening to some of his videos, and he talks about ambition. And sometimes we're told, we're told little things from being a little kid that are impacting and stunting our growth as adults, right? Oh, hey, color in the lines, don't run on the street. You can't do that. Oh, no one in our family's gone to college. Oh, you can't. Who do you think you are, being some hotshot lawyer or being some hotshot, business owner, and these kind of things. And the people that aren't, helping us get to where we want to go, they're not helping you get to where you want to go because they're going to leave them behind, right? And then they won't be able to do all the things you used to do with them because you're trying to go out and have a big life, right? So one of the things that he talks about is giving yourself permission to bring ambition back into your world, right? What can you get ambitious about? It could be a personal goal. It could be a health goal. It could be a financial goal. It could be a business goal, right? Are you allowing other people to tell you what you can do and what you can't do? Have you given yourself permission to dream big and think big and to set big goals? That's part of what we do here. What do you guys hear when I say that?
That kind of reminds me. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go first.
I was thinking that kind of reminds me of this. I think it was an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, how he witnessed like a parent with their little kid walking down the street, and the little kid sees a puddle, and he's just thinking to himself, like, please just let that kid go jump in the puddle, instead of restricting and putting this box around like how you're supposed to be. you know, open that box up and just, you know, explore and let your imagination run wild. It's kind of what that,
Yeah,
that
kind of
reminds me of.
makes you rethink how you parent, right?
Absolutely.
Is it that big of a deal? Like, let the kid will learn real quick that it gets you wet, and then they'll determine for themselves if that's good or not.
I'm the kind of parent who brings my kids and we splash and play in public fountains.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You know?
We get wet in our clothes. They're like, Mom, we're dressed. Okay, we'll try.
Yeah, big deal. Right? I mean, you can tell, like, we have friends that are like, gosh, they're like helicopter parents like I've never seen before. And their kids are like never going to take any risks. They're never going to challenge themselves with anything because they're so damn afraid of everything. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right? Have you been victim to that? Right? Are there risks you're unwilling to take because of that? Right?
Well, in the last couple weeks, I feel like sometimes when I'm being the most productive on some levels, I feel the least productive.
Okay, I see how that could be. Explain yourself.
Well, I get so busy doing that I don't stop and realize how much I've done, and I still see what I still need to do. And so, like, you asked, like, what have we accomplished or what have we been doing to make things easier? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I've really done anything. And then the more, like, we've been talking and you brought stuff out, it's like, oh, well, I have done these things. Like, I had started the cleaning company before I started real estate. And I've gotten to a point with the cleaning company now that I feel confident enough in my pricing and structure and the way that I do things that I'm ready to start working with other people and training them in on my process, because I have a process, which means that I'm getting to the point that I'm ready to just start managing them and doing it. And so, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But I've been getting enough calls lately that I'm like, I don't know if I can handle all these. Like, I'm gonna overbook.
Well,
So,
you know, it's the exact same business, Heather.
yes, and so
We find people, we put them through the system, we give them what they want, we stay in touch with them.
so now, like with some of these people, and it's been like at the same time I'm doing my cleaning people are generating those leads, I've really been able to insert my real estate business as well, because they're like, how many square feet? I do it by the square foot. How many square feet do you have? Oh, I don't know. Okay, give me your address. I can look it up. I'm a realtor.
That's so smart. Yeah.
And then I write them back. I'm like, okay, I found it on the MLS. This is your tax records. This is how many it says you have. So, so I've been kind of going back and forth with that, and I let people know as I've been in different Facebook groups, and people talk about, oh, I need someone for cleaning, and I'm like, well, I have a cleaning company, and by the way, if you ever, some of them have been realtors, and I said, by the way, I'm also a realtor, so if you're doing it for move in, move out for your clients, and you don't have availability or help to let somebody in, no problem, I've got super access.
Right. And by the way, you can use the word, you could say like, I own a cleaning company.
Yes, and that's what I do.
Right. Rather than saying I have one, or I work with one, or I work for one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not necessarily the person that actually cleans. And even if you are, who cares? Mm-hmm. I own this thing.
Yeah. And that is actually the wording that I've been using. And I have, and then I'll send them the pricing and stuff, and then I'll talk about the people that are going to go there. But so in the beginning, like I've been doing the cleans because I wanted to get it developed. Because I feel like until I knew what the challenges were, I couldn't really know how to communicate with the clients and to do it easily. And now, like, in the last day, I received 6 requests for deep cleans.
Wow.
and 2 of them signed the contract within an hour. And those are $500 a pop.
Yeah.
So I'm getting, because they'll ask me, you know, whether it's Grimer doing the different things. So I'm getting those scripts down, but I guess that's going to a whole different way. My whole point in talking about this was now I'm getting to a point where I'm going to be able to start not having to invest my time actually going to them. I want to start training people in, and I can start having that income that I needed while I'm building things, and also supporting the real estate. And so now that I'm able to start managing that more than doing all of it, I'm going to have more time for the real estate as well. And the stuff that I've been learning doing that, I can also apply. So it's been a very complementary process. And it's been good.
Well, I love how we've talked a lot about, you know, basically all you got is time and money.
Mm-hmm.
So when an issue comes up, right, when a task is put in front of you, and it's something that you have to complete or address or finish or whatever, the first thing that you should be saying to yourself is, am I going to address this with my time, or am I going to address this with my money? Right?
Yep.
And so the cleaning projects are slowly becoming addressed, from your standpoint at least, from I'm going to address this with my money. I'm going to allow somebody else to deal with this, right? Yep. So that allows you to use your energy for something that is going to be more dollar productive, and that's finding real estate business.
I did something with other cleaning companies that I hadn't been seeing done before, and I've been creating kind of like a cleaners consortium, in that I found a group of people and we've all agreed on our pricing models, and so that we will use to work with each other. And if I'm too busy to do my thing, I can hand it off to them. I do the scheduling, I do the booking, it stays my client, I process the payments, and I pay them, and we just have a set split. And if the same thing happens, if their company's too busy, they don't have employees or different workers to cover it, but they don't want to lose the client or say they can't do it, they can contact me, and we have that same split. So it's creating partnerships.
That's perfect. I mean, that's another form of leverage. That's a really cool idea. You have, I mean, it's the same kind of thing where we could put something similar together to say, hey, we all charge $25 a door if we ever need anyone to open the door for one another.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I was just, I know we've talked a good bit about pricing and the desire to have some pricing discussions. So we put on the schedule that we were going to have a class on Wednesday, and that is going to be pricing and mock offer day. So we're going to work through some more contracts. We're going to do some more analysis of pricing, and that's going to be from 2 o'clock to 3:30 on Wednesday. So it's a bit of a pop-up class, 2 o'clock to 3:30 on Wednesday. And I was just texting with Rachel a second ago, and she had a pricing question. And then I just asked her, I figured you guys would benefit from that discussion too. So Rachel, are you here? Are you able to share your question? We'll see if we can't answer that and help everyone.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, my question was, well, first off, I have somebody who was interested in a condo, and this condo specifically is different than all of the other condos there. And it's bigger than everything else, and it has an extra bedroom than all of the others. And I wasn't quite sure how to price that one, how to run the comps on that one, because all of the others, they sold literally exactly a year ago. And they sold for 160. Yeah, 160. All of them sold for literally like 160. And there's one pending right now for 165. And this guy is asking 185, and he dropped it yesterday. So I don't know. And it's been on the market for 140 days. And the one that is pending was only on the market for 7 days. So I'm not sure how to run, how much do you add for a bedroom? And this one's also 200 square feet bigger too. And it's a condo.
Okay. Is it a new development?
No, they upgraded it in 2005, and the building was originally built in 1965.
What building or what complex?
But it's down in Sandy Springs.
Yeah, tell me the name of the complex. I probably know it.
I think Arbor or something. Let me find it. It's Arbor is at Sandy Springs.
Oh, okay. So basically all the sales are around two bed, 2 bath, and this one happens to be a 3 bed, 2 bath.
Correct. This is the only one that I see.
Okay, and then all the 2 beds are selling right around 160, right?
Correct.
And the only 3 bed, which your client happens to want, is listed for 185, but they just lowered it to 180. Is that what you said?
No, they just lowered it to 185.
185 after 150 something days on the market, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I would do a few things to analyze this. First, I'm not the hugest fan of doing it this way, but I do think that there is a little bit of value here, is to do a price per square foot analysis, right? So how much is each square foot valued at according to that community, right? So if, let's say, it's 1,200 square feet and it's 160 price, it is $133 a foot. Okay, this is a rough science. We're just getting a general idea here. And that one's got 200 extra square feet. That might be worth $26,000, right? I just came up with the 1,200 square feet, by the way.
Okay.
Do you know what is the?
12, this one is 1,200 and everything else is 1,000 square feet.
Okay, so basically a $160,000 place was 1,000 square feet. So if we add another 200 square feet, that's another $32,000. So you'd take 160 plus the 32,000, and you have 100 and, is that right? Let me do that again. So you have a $160,000 place. That's 1,000 square feet. That's $160 a foot. This new place is 200 square feet bigger. That's $32,000. So that's $192,000 if we're going to look strictly on square footage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What we know is, what did they lower the price? They lowered it to 185, but it was where?
Originally, let me go to it. As of Sunday, it was at 187.
Okay, so
Then
they're
a
just
month
joking
ago,
around,
it
lowering
was
the price from
190,
187
and
to,
then yeah.
okay, so they're just crawling to the right price. By the way, lowering it from 187 to 185 ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one way I would look at it. If that way of looking at it, it seems like it's a good value. Okay, at 185. The next way I want to look at it is to say, where else can I buy a 3 bed, 2 bath in Sandy Springs? Right? So are there any other communities that currently are selling or have sold 3 bed, 2 baths? So that's a piece of analysis you want to do. So leave the subdivision and say, where else can I buy a 3 bed and what price am I going to pay for that likely?
There is another one that's right around the corner, and they are anywhere, the square footage for that one, they're around 1,200 to 1,400, and they range around, these are all active.
Yeah.
And they range around, cheapest I see is 160 to 200.
Okay, good. So we know we're in the right range. So now what you should do is, I would do this just because you're relatively new and you're trying to learn the marketplace. So I go in and out of every single one of those. And I might even consider bringing my client, right? And just say, hey, here's one for 165 that's also 3 bed and it's about the same size as this one in the Arbors. Okay, let's see what the listing activity on that one is, right? What was the listing price? How has the market reacted to it, right? How long did it take to go under contract? What did it sell for? What were the closing costs? So you're doing that analysis in each of those communities and for each of these listings. And you're basically doing a visual comparison of okay, was this a condo conversion? Did this one have hardwood floors? Did this one have granite? Did this one have stainless steel appliances? Was this in a community with a swimming pool, with a gate, all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So I think that you're in the right ballpark. We're not talking about that big of a difference. We're only talking about 7 or 8% here in price variation. But that's how you're going to go from, hey, this place is probably worth somewhere between 160 and 185 to, okay, this place is probably worth something between 170 and 175, right? So you're trying to carve off numbers of the range from the high end and from the low end. And you're basically doing that by saying, all right, let's look at it from a space standpoint. Let's look at it from a comparative analysis standpoint, right? What else could I buy? And at the end of the day, I mean, what if you just offered the guy 165 and said, hey, obviously it's worth more than a 2.2, but I'm not going to go crazy here. And you find out what the guy's willing to sell it for. Right.
Would you look at the history of when it last sold and what it sold for and see if there's another unit that sold at the same time and what that sold for?
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I have done that in the past. Again, that's not going to, like, there is no like magic number. There is no like indisputable number, but that may give me some context. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. But for example, let's say you offer 165 and the guy comes back and says 180. Okay. Then the question you should ask is there anything available that's more attractive to me for less than 180? And if the answer is yes, and hey, it's available for 176, then go back and say, hey, I'll give you 172 for this place. Because at 172, I'd rather have this place. At 176, I'd rather have some other place. See what I'm saying?
I was just thinking, because sometimes you write that letter, and would it be of value to say, hey, we looked up the history of this unit versus other units and when it was purchased and when it was sold, and we see that it was this much difference, and so it's this percentage, and so we're willing to go that same percentage because the numbers have changed, but the percentage hasn't?
That's a great tool if you're willing to say, I will not buy the home for more than this, and here's the evidence. If you're trying to play hardball, it better be the one you want. You better be willing to walk away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's basically a couple different ways you can look at this. One is, let's look at it from a price per square foot. Let's look at it from what's been going on in the listing history. Let's also look at what else I could buy that would make me equally as happy, right? And then it really boils down to, like, you know, there's not a ton of 3-bed complexes in Sandy Springs. And many of them are like right in that area north of Abernathy. They're all condo conversions. I mean, you can go across the street to like Foxcroft or whatever. Like you can maybe go down.
The one that I was running, that I was saying the other examples.
Right. Foxcroft is not, it's not, I wouldn't say it's quite as nice as the one across the street. You know, you might be able to find something in the Cloisters that's inside the perimeter and a little bit more expensive. Like you just got to become a little bit more familiar with some of these areas and what they offer. But a 3-bed for 180 in Sandy Springs, man, those aren't going to be around forever.
Yeah, it's the only one active in that neighborhood right now.
Yeah. All right, cool. If you need a little bit more coaching on that, Rachel, just reach out to me a little bit later. And I hope that spending a little extra time with Tyler today was valuable. Thank you guys for coming today. My intention is to update the YouTube channel. It's updated as of right this moment, and we'll put on this video and Tyler's video here momentarily. And you'll have an awesome weekend and rest up. We'll have a big week next week, okay?
Thank you.
David, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then I'll be right back for our call, okay?
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.